Hi everyone in English 1301, it's Dr. E and I'm here with an instructional video for your multimedia project. So just as the food journal collection, the multimedia project is not due this week, but I'm just trying to give y'all enough time, enough lead time to start if you would like to kind of get ahead, because next week you have quite a bit to do to finish up the course because we're so fast paced. So take a moment to just understand the guidelines, let me know if you have any questions, and of course get started if you choose to do so. Please note that all of the materials for our major assignments are going to be available in the content area. So if you scroll and see the syllabus schedule rubrics and you scroll down, you'll see all the different items, templates, mind map materials, as well as the food journal materials, and of course our multimedia project handout. So take some time to look through it. I am going to walk through some of those details, but of course not read everything straight from the page because it's super boring, right? The multimedia project is just a nice way to kind of end our time together. Instead of having kind of that final essay, we're working to accomplish some of that with our food journal collection, and this assignment just adds a little bit to it. It adds elements of research, but it also gives you a little freedom to be creative, which I think is, really fun. It's fun for me to grade. I hope it's fun for you to complete. There are various examples here. If you just want to click and open these items, you'll notice that students have done everything. They've done informational PowerPoints, or they have done, so I'm just going to open some of these documents just to give you an idea. Let me pause to get those open. So if you take a look at the Word document, you just want to click on these and give it some time to open up. But I have opened a few examples. The first is a video. Now you probably won't hear the sound for it, but I want you to just get a general idea of what the possibilities are. This is for a British literature course quite a few years ago, but I think it's a really good example of, we're not striving for perfection, we're just striving to creatively share ideas. So if I click play, you'll notice that, it's just, this is the creator's brother playing a role, and then he wrote an authentic song, right, related to the short story Araby. Okay, so you see that, again, it's just creatively using the ideas from the short story. He wrote original lyrics and performed them. You can listen to them if you click on the link for this video. So again, not striving for perfection, but striving to show that we understood the elements of the assignment, right? And so for our purposes, it's going to be food related. So if we go to, this is the Lone Star Voices blog that I curate, and these are just some examples from previous students who agreed to share their work. This is Anyi's, and so Anyi wanted to do some artwork related to Ron Finley's TED Talk. And so she put together a PowerPoint, and I just took the images from the PowerPoint to load them here. And she gave, explanations of what she was doing to show the process, the progress. She didn't just include the final piece, right? You can see that there's some sketching in there. And then with all the explanation, she just showed the steps. And I think that's one of the keys to this assignment that sometimes students don't take to heart, right? Part of this is really showing the progress, right, and the process. I'm not looking, if you are not an artist, that is okay. Still attempt something that draws you out of your comfort zone, because we'll see the progress. We'll see all the steps you took and the effort you put into it without just showing the final piece. And that's really related to the idea of writing, right? It's all about the work that goes into it to then lead to that final product, which is never going to be perfect. Writing very rarely is. Even the writers that we know and love pay big bucks for copy editors, for all kinds of the processes that go into making that finished product. And some of you will note that you've read books in the past and you found little typos and things because it's not perfect, but it's all about sharing the elements and the ideas. Okay. Another example is, I'm I don't know why the video is not available. He may have taken it down, but Israel, in a Mexican American lit course, wrote an original song, and you can see the lyrics here. So again, you can write a song, you can write a collection of poetry, you can do anything that really speaks to what you'd like to try. Let me pause. There's a plane overhead. So this is a way to really go back and address something that you thought about or wrote about in your food journal collection. You can certainly move beyond that if you want to go outside of those journals. But I put, why put more work on yourself? If you've already identified a kind of comfort food, then why not make that and document the process in either pictures or a video or draw something related to it. But the sky is really the limit. People have done all kinds of things. Some of you, identify as photographers, or if you want to try a short story, it's all about the progress, okay? So you need to be able to create something that you can upload to D2L, so it needs to be in kind of one of these formats, right? If you're doing a video, please make sure it's in YouTube. Don't use any other file format, because sometimes D2L will not upload files that are large in size, and sometimes those files do not work for your colleagues. So YouTube is really the easiest way to go about this, okay? So part of the project is showing what you've done. Now, if you choose to do an informational PowerPoint or a short story, the effort is kind of there, right? The PowerPoint has information, details, you've cited your sources. A short story has the link there that shows your efforts. But most of what you may create is going to need to show the process, okay? So just make sure that you're keeping that in mind. So there has to be a writing element, right? Because it is a writing course, and a large portion of the grade will depend on that. So you'll need 3 paragraphs, and I'm really going to emphasize the second because that's where the research comes into play. The first paragraph is describing your project. So I want you to think about how your project will appear. We're going to actually post them in the discussion area, and so those will, it will be a place where the first thing your audience sees is those 3 paragraphs in the text box. Okay, let me pause because I want to show you what this looks like. Right, so this is an example from last semester from Miguel, who agreed to share his work. And so you'll see that he has 3 paragraphs. This is in the discussion post area. And he is quoting Choi. He's doing things in the second paragraph that require research, and then includes that work cited at the bottom. It's not required unless you use something outside of our course. So he did not necessarily need to use Choi's citation here, but he chose to because he also went outside. And then he uploaded the actual project. So we have our 3 paragraphs posted here, and then the project is an uploaded document, which let me go ahead and show you. Stand by. So Miguel put together a PowerPoint and uploaded it related to making one of those dishes that was just comforting to him, a Venezuelan dish called pan de jamón. And so he shows the process of cooking it, ingredients. Here he is doing the steps of it. And so just showing that step by step can be really helpful to help your audience get a visual for the steps that went into the work that you wanted to create. Okay, so it can be a PowerPoint, it can be anything. So just take some time to read through this and know that that first paragraph is just offering a description. Like, what is it that they will look at when they click on the link or when they open the document, that kind of thing. So did you choose a PowerPoint? If so, why? Did you make a video? If so, why? That kind of thing. I always urge students to really consider PowerPoint because it can be a way to put pictures together if you're, going for some photography, or the steps of creating a food, or the steps of creating a piece of art, even steps for revisions when it comes to a poem, right? So you don't want to just include the eventual poem. Show the steps that went into it, because again, we're thinking of writing and the steps that are involved in that. The second paragraph, and I really can't stress it enough, it's where a lot of students will lose points because it requires a lot of research. You are citing the authors, the text, that connect to your project in your ideas. So is it something like Choi really got you thinking about this, or Finley, or any of the things we've addressed this brief Minimester related to food. So this is where you bring in that research, okay, and MLA formatting guidelines, of course. And then the paragraph that is last is about you. What did you learn? How did this information affect your understanding of the topic? So this is very personal. It's what you picked up from, completing this work. Is it a newfound affection for your comfort food or a food memory? And so again, here are just some examples of projects that have been done in the past. But of course, you can do something completely different. You can create a game. You can create a social media account for the kind of food that you want to create, that kind of thing. So people have done a lot of different kinds of projects in the past. And this is how the points break down. So it's 20% of your grade, or 200 points overall. The actual artistic part is 75 points, and then those paragraphs are the most. They're worth 100. This is, again, I very rarely find that students don't do well on the actual creative part. It's really the paragraphs where grades tend to go down a little bit, so make sure you're reading those requirements. And then, of course, the last 25 points will be you responding to 5 colleagues about their projects, not responding in your own thread in your own project link, but for their work. Okay, so take some time to review this. Let me know if I've been confusing in any kind of way, but start thinking about what you might like to do and what you have time to do, right? Because we're always in a time crunch with this mini mester. So just take on something that you know you can accomplish in the time that we have. All right, take care and let me know what you need.